ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 38, verse 23. We are reading the arrival of Sri Akrura from Mathura to Braj on the order of Kamsa to bring Krishna to Mathura to participate in the Dhanush festival and wrestling match. So we read how while coming he was very happy, very pleased, and he was imagining how he will meet Krishna and bow down to him, because he is in Dasya Bhav, so he is naturally very happy to imagine that. And just Dasa, he likes to be at his feet. So most of the verses were describing that Generally, when you go to visit a person like Krishna, or even you go to some family like that, you should carry some gift, or even Kamsa may have given some gift, but there is no mention here. So Riktpanim na pashyeta Rajanam Devatam Gurum, that if you visit a king, you visit a Devata, you visit Guru, you should not go empty-handed. But here we don't, he is not thinking that I will give this, I will give that. Mathura is famous for milk sweets called peda, right? So he did not say that I will carry 2 kg of peda for Krishna. It's quite interesting that there is no mention like that. Otherwise, as a dasa, he should also mention something like, and I will offer this, I will give some nice dress to him. But there is no mention somehow. He is just too much absorbed in the bliss of seeing Krishna and meeting him. So this is the last sloka in this line of Akrura's thought. Sakinchagrajo mavanatam yaduttama smayan parisvajya grihitam anjalau griham praveshyapta samasta satkritam samprakshate kam sakritam svabandhusu. So all this time he was only talking about Krishna. Now he speaks about Balram in this one verse. So he says, Kincha agrajo ma avnatam yaduttam smayan parisvajya grihitam anjalo. So he says that I will also bow down to Balaram, and when I fall at his feet, then he, who is elder brother of Sri Krishna and who is the best of the Yadus, he will lift me up, and while smiling he will embrace me, and then he will hold my hands in his hand, and griha praveshya apta samasta satkritam, and he will ask me to please come inside. That means he will meet them at the outside at the gate, and then Balram will take him inside. This is imagining like that. And griham praveshya apta samasta satkritam, and then when I have accepted all the satkar, means respect, whatever is given to a guest, how the guest is received. So then, samprakshate kam sakritam svabandhushu. Then he will ask me about his relatives, how they are being treated by Kamsa. Kamsakritam svabandhusu samprakshate. Because Balram is known that he is son of Rohini, he is son of Vasudeva. At least about Krishna there is doubt whether he is Vasudeva's son or he is son of Nanda Maharaj. But Balram was clear, no confusion about him. So therefore he is thinking. So he is going up to that extent that when he meets, how he will talk, what he will question, and so on. So griham praveshya apta samasta satkritam. So this is the tradition that the guest is received, is given place to sit, something to eat, water to drink, washing feet, etc., bringing a cow. So gogna is the word used even in the Vedas. And then you talk. When Vidura came back after his tour and came to Hastinapur after the war of Kurukshetra, then it is described in the first canto how Yudhishthira Maharaj also he received him, and then once he has rested, then they talked, and then he asked Vidura where all he went, and so this is the way to receive the guest. Tasya agrajo Baldeva. So agraj here is Baldeva. Mam Anjalau. So ma here is not ma, which is denial, but ma means mam, that to me. Avnatam yaduttama. So mam anjalau matkrit anjalau swadakshin hastena grihitam. So when he bows down to Balram, then he is joining his hands like this. So he says that Balaram will hold my both hands with his right hand and take me inside with great respect. So that's how he's saying. Mam akrishya, he says he will pull me inside. Griham ekanta sanlapartham praveshya. He will take me in a solitary place so that he will talk to me. So satkritam satkara. Satkritam means the respect given to a guest. So this is the last verse of his reverie, his meditation on the way. So now Sukadeva Goswami describes how he enters Vraja and then what happens. So now the real thing. This was all in his mind. So Sri Shuka Uvacha, Sri Sukadeva said, Iti samchintayan Krishnam swafalkatanayo dhvani rathena gokulam praptaha suryaschastam girim nripa. So in this way, when Akrura, the son of Swafalka, was thinking about Krishna on the way from Mathura, so by his chariot Gokulam prapta, he reached Gokula. And when he reached Gokula, the sun has already set. Suryanchasta girim nripa. That, O king, the sun has gone to Astachal. So it is generally described that there are two mountains, one in the east that is called Udhyachala, other is in the west that is called Astachala. So sun comes from the east mountain and goes into the west mountain, and sometimes described that he comes from the ocean and goes into the ocean. So now what happens when he entered Gokula? He says, Padani tasya akhila lokapala kirita justamala padarenoho dadarsha goshthe kshiti kautukani vilakshitanyabja ankushadhyahi. So when he came, then he saw the footmarks of Krishna. So he must have very good vision, because sun already set and footmarks are on the ground. He is sitting on the chariot and there must be many more footmarks. It's not that only Krishna is walking there, there are other people also walking. But he could recognize Krishna's. There are so many cows walking, there are so many hoof prints. Can you recognize which cow is which hoof print? So he was able to recognize Krishna's footprint. Why is that? Because vilakshitani. Because they are special. They have special marks. If you want to recognize something which is special, you have to know the lakshana, the defining characteristic, or that which distinguishes it from others. That is called lakshana. So lakshana is that which takes you to the lakshya. Sadharan dharma, lakshana. Lakshana is that which is asadharan dharma, or which is special characteristic which belongs only to that particular object. Otherwise, if it is sadharan, then you cannot distinguish. So therefore it says vilakshitani, that it is vilakshan. Vilakshan means vishesh lakshan, means it has speciality which distinguishes it from others. So what is that speciality? It says abja yava ankushadhyai. So there are special marks on Krishna's soles of the feet, such as lotus, barley, and ankusha, this god, like a small trident, and many other marks are there. We read earlier also when Krishna left Rāsa-līlā. So in many places it is described that Krishna's feet have special marks on them. So it is by that he recognized. So that means he must know that, because he has never seen Krishna. But he recognizes him by the footprints. So this is the hetu, and by that you go to the sadhya, right? So yatra yatra abja yava ankushadhye lakshanani tatra tatra Krishna. Wherever you see these marks, that means Krishna is present there. So he saw this, Dadarsha Goshtha Kshiti Kautukani. So he saw this in the Goshtha. Goshtha means in the Goshala. Near Goshala he saw them. And they were like the ornaments of the earth, as if earth was decorated by these footmarks. And these are the footmarks of Krishna. Who is he? Akhila Lokapala Kirita Justa Amala Padareno. That this is the dust from the feet of Krishna, which is pure, and which is the feet which are bowed down by all the Lokpalas, the protectors of the various lokas, because Krishna is Parameshwara. So it is his feet, it is his footmarks that he saw, and he was able to recognize. So he is very good in recognizing that he was able to recognize from the chariot on the ground in the dark. There was not enough light. Sun has already gone down. So padani, padchinnani. Although here the word is mentioned padani, means the feet, but it refers to the marks, because there were no feet there. Feet represents here the marks of the feet. Padchinnani. Shitahe kautukam, and these foot marks were like the kautuka. Kautuka means savishmaya saubhagyam yata. That it's a wonder that Krishna's feet are being marked on earth, because Krishna is Sarveshwara, and a person like him who is not going to walk on earth. Even the devatas like Indra, they don't touch the ground, and even if he touches the ground, he will have his shoes. So earth, he is not going to touch the earth. Like you walk on, even you don't walk barefoot. But Krishna was walking barefoot. So this is the Saubhagya of earth. This is the great fortune for earth, and also great Vishmaya, great wonder that such a great person is walking barefoot on earth. So that's why it is called Kshiti Kautukam. It is great surprise, great wonder, great fortune for earth to have this opportunity. So then this acted as an Uddipan Vibhav, because Akrura, he is a devotee, he has Dasya Bhav, and Bhav becomes Uddipta, excited by Uddipan Vibhavas. Right? The Uddipan Vibhava, Alamban Vibhava. So these footprints acted especially for a devotee in the Dasya Bhav, the feet, the footmark, they act like Uddipana. It's exciting, means their devotion becomes very much augmented, heightened up, it swells up, and various symptoms of love become manifest on the body. So this is what is described in the next sloka. Taddarsanalhad vibruddha sambhramaha premnordhva romashru kala kulekshanaha rathadav skandya sateshu cheshtata prabhoramuni anghrirajamsi aho iti. So when he saw this, then he was very blissful, and because of that his excitement increased. He became highly excited. Vibruddha Sambrahma means like you don't know what you are going to do. you get completely overwhelmed. He was not expecting this. Of course, he was imagining, but suddenly he sees the footprints, and then his love swells up. So because of that, he is alhad vibrada sambrame. He is very blissful, very ecstatic. Premno urdhva roma ashru kalakulakshana. And out of love, his hair stood on the end. Tears were flowing from his eyes. So he was manifesting these sattvic bhavas out of love for Krishna. And then what he did, this is the anubhava, rathad avskandya sa teshu acheshtata. Then he jumped from the chariot. He did not climb down gracefully. Sitting in a chariot, he is also a royal person, so he should come down in a royal manner. No, by seeing the footmarks, he just jumped from the chariot onto the ground, and then he rolled in it. And he says, Prabho Ramuni Angri Rajamsi Yaho. He says, what a wonder. This is the dust from the feet of my master. And then he was rolling in that. So this is how he reacted. This is the anubhava. So asrunam kala kalanam atiksharnam. So tears were just flowing from his eyes non-stop. Kali hali kamadhenu. There are two dhatus in Sanskrit. One is called kali, other is called hali. These two dhatus in Sanskrit are called kamdhenu dhatus. Kamdhenu, you know? What is kamdhenu? Wish fulfilling. So how these two dhatus are called kamdhenu?
I fulfill all your desires.
How can dhatus fulfill your desire? They are only words. So their dhatus have meaning, right? But these dhatus can give you any meaning. That is the kamdhenu. Whatever meaning you want to take, you can apply. No restriction. Other dhatus have their meaning, so you cannot say this dhatu means something completely different. But kali, kalayati, kalayati, kalati, kalanam, you can say this is what it means. Halayati, halati, halayati, all this. So these are kamdhenu dhatus in Sanskrit. So you can apply whatever meaning you want to apply, no problem, no restriction. Nobody will say, no, how can you take this meaning? Then you simply say, Kali Hali Kamdhenu. So Auskandya Sahasa Eva Avuplutya. So suddenly he jumped. So you can feel how ecstatic he was, how blissful he must be. Because suddenly he jumps down. Sa akrura. Sa here means akrura. Teshu padeshu acheshtata sarodhanam aluthat. So then what he did, that he was rolling in the dust and saying, oh, this is my master's. My master has walked here. So that's how he was absolutely blissful. Aho bhagyam, what a fortune. Durlabha labho mama ayamiti sagadgadam pruvan. So I have attained this rare fortune that I am able to see the footprints of Krishna. Even the devatas do not get the opportunity to see this. So in this, with a faltering voice, he spoke like this. Prabho Ramuni Ang Irajamsi Aho. These are his words. Deham Bhritamiyanartho Hitva Dambham Bhiyam Sucham Sandeshadyo Harirlinga Darshana Shravanadibhi. So now Sri Sukadeva Goswami says that this indeed is the good use of one's body, those who have the human body, that giving up pride, giving up fear, giving up distress, one should do what Akrura did after he got the order from Kamsa. Sandeshadyo Harer Linga Darshana Shravanadivi. So he says the way Kamsa reacted from the time he was asked by Kamsa to go to Vraja and bring Krishna and Balram. So we read that when he got that whole night he could not sleep. He already started thinking that what a good fortune, I will go to Vraja, I will see Krishna, and this way this Kamsa has actually blessed me and so on. And then on the way also he was having all these thoughts. He was meditating how he is going to meet Krishna. So he says this is how one should live. Means our mindset should be like this. And we should not have any pride, fear and grief. Because in case of Akrura, he has that. He is a royal person. He is coming in a chariot, not in a bullock cart. And then from there he jumps down. And that also he is jumping down onto the foot dust of Krishna, who is an enemy of Kamsa, and he is a messenger of Kamsa. So if you go to another king and then do favorable activity and worship of that king, then your master will be upset with you if he comes to know. So therefore he did not have any fear, no pride that I am his uncle. Actually he is senior to Krishna. He is senior in relationship, senior in age, but he is not having any pride like that. So this is important for devotees, because devotees, if they have this kind of pride, I am a senior devotee, right? People have like that. I am advanced bhakta. Bhakta actually they don't want to say I am advanced. If you call a devotee as bhakta, he feels insulted, because bhakta is generally used for new devotees. It's called a new bhakta. He is on the bhakta program. Right? So if you call a senior advanced devotee as bhakta, hey bhakta, he will feel insulted. So you are calling me bhakta. So this is how a bhakta should be, free from pride. Because we develop pride. Anarthas come, either we have pride because of our birth, our place, property, relations, and various types. Krishna described them in Bhagavad Gita. Konyasti sadrisho maya, who is there like me? I am Abhijan, I am having friends, born in a good family, right? I can give charity. So various types. I have given so much donation, I have done so much service. Or I know so many slokas by heart. How many do you know? I know whole Bhagavad Gita. Various types of pride in bhakti also. You can get various prides. I made so many devotees, distributed so many books, opened so many temples, or I have written books, or I have so many followers. YouTube, I have so many followers on YouTube. Who are you? How many do you have? Yeah, you can always find something to be proud in. So that does not work in bhakti. Here Trinadapi Sunichena. And then fear. So he was fearless. So people can, fear is not always fear in the sense that somebody is going to beat you up or somebody is going to do something. You can also have fear that, oh, what this person will think if I talk to this person. I'm a senior devotee, I'm talking to some junior like this, he's sitting with me or he's sitting next to me and eating or whatever. There can be fear like that. And Shucham is grief. Grief in the sense that I can lose something. So becoming free from all this, one should fix the mind. These are all obstacles in the fixity of our mind. If you want to meditate, do our japa or seva, then our mind may be deviated by these kinds of things. Why did he speak like this to me? Or he did not respect me. So, na bhajanti avjananti. If somebody does not greet you, then that is also an insult. Somebody greets you every day. One day he does not greet you, then you feel insulted by that. He did not really insult you, but not respect. Not giving respect is also insult if you are a respectable person. So various types of thoughts can creep into the mind because of our attachment to these subtle things. Therefore Mahaprabhu said, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam. Kavita means poetry. Poetry describes here means I am established person in the society. I have position, people like me, followers. It's all poetry. So they can all be problem. So Harer Linga Darshan Shravanadibhi. So see, Linga also means form. What you call the Vigraha. The deity is also called Linga. So Linga Darshan Shravanadibhi. Shravan, hearing. So one should meditate on that, being free from that. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti explains very nicely on this. He says, Mathurato yatram arabhya Nandabraja pravesha paryantam akrurasya mano vakya kaya cheshtitam varnitva tadeva drishtanti kritya siddhanta saramaha. So he is saying that Sri Sukadeva Goswami, he has described the journey of Akrura beginning from Mathura up till his entry into Vraja of Nanda Maharaj. And in the description of this journey, he has explained the thought process of Akrura, his speech and bodily activities. Mano vaka kaya chestitam. What he did with his body, mind and speech. So he was not thinking of anything else. In this whole description, there is nothing that he saw Yamuna and he was saying, oh how nice, or he saw the forest or the deer. He must have seen forest animals on the way. There is no description that he says anything about that. His mind was completely fixed on Sri Krishna, that how he is going to meet him and his beauty, and he was talking about his nose and his cheeks and his hair and eyes, right? His smile and his physical appearance, bodily hue, all that. So this is how his manovakaya chestata. So this describing, then he says that in this particular sloka, now he is taking this behavior of Akrura as an example for sadhakas and giving the essence. In other words, what was the point in describing all this? So the point in describing all this was what is summarized in this particular one verse. That it is to tell us that how our mind should be fixed. That we are living in Vrindavan, so this is how we should remain fixed in Vrindavan. Not being disturbed by this, oh there is noise here, this pollution there, garbage here, what is this, hot, cold, monkeys, right, people, So then you are all distracted by these things. So just as he was not distracted by anything, otherwise we are not living in Vrindavan. We come to Vrindavan for what? So if you want all this comfort, then don't come here. They are much better outside. If you are only looking for bodily comfort, nice food, everything, then that is better available outside. Why do you come here? So, but when our purpose is not fixed, when our purpose is not devotion, then our mind gets distracted to all these things. But Akrura's mind was not distracted. Otherwise he would be thinking, oh, if I do like this, then what if Kamsa comes to know, and I should not do this, I should not be very friendly with Krishna and Balram, otherwise Kamsa may suspect. Because if he came, although it is not described, there must be at least one or two more people with him. It's for sure that he did not come alone, although there is no mention. But if he is coming as a messenger of Krishna, there must be some people. Also horses are there, they have to be fed. He is not going to do that himself. There must be a driver. It's not that he himself was driving the chariot. So that person can inform. And generally kings are very smart people. Don't think that they just send like that. When they send messenger, they also have their spies. Even when all these asuras were coming to Vrindavan, Kamsa's spies were also there to inform him what is going on. So he will get the news that what happened. It is not that there were some press reporters going and it was coming on TV program, Bakasur killed. Breaking news. Krishna kills Bakasura. No, he had his own people who will inform. So that's why he's saying that bhayam, that he is not having any fear like that. In other words, his mind could also have been distracted by many things. But as we read, nothing like that. He was absolutely focused on Sri Krishna. There is nothing like this that I am going to speak like this, Kamsa has said this. He was not bothered about that. So this is what he says, is that this is the Siddhanta Sara. This is the essence of the Siddhanta behind all this description. Deham Bhritam iti Dutiya Arshi. So Deham Bhritam, he says, why Dutiya Bhakti is used here in Deham? This is problematic. It should have been just Deha Bhritam. Deha Dharinam means those who have body. Iyan etavan eva purushartha. So he says this is only the purushartha for those who have the body. Means for every human being. Deham Bhritam Iyan Artho. So this is the only Purushartha. Everything else is not a Purushartha, means everything else is just waste of time and life. Durlabha manusa janma tadapi adhruvam arthadam. So it is Durlabha, this human form, and it is temporary, but it can be Arthada, can give you the ultimate purpose if it is utilized properly. So Kamsasya Sandeshad Arabhya Harer Linga Darshana Shravanadibhir Yo Ayam Akrurasya Varnitaha. So what is that Purushartha? That what is being described here about Akrura, beginning from the point that he got the message from Kamsa that you should go and bring Krishna and Balram here, that message. And up to Harer Linga Darshan Shravanadibhir, up to the point where he sees the footmarks of Krishna on the ground. So this whole description, this whole behavior, how he acted, what was his thought process, all this, he says this is the Siddhanta Sara. I mean, this is what we should learn from this, that this is how our mind should be. Yatha harer lingam padchinnam drishtva akrura tatraiva dhulau lulotha. So just as Akrura, when he saw the footmarks of Sri Krishna, then he immediately jumped from there. So no pride that I am big man, how can I do this? And what people will look at me and they will laugh, what is he doing? He was dressed nicely and he is rolling on the ground. So he says, people will look at him, he says, is he having some kind of mental sickness? That he is doing like this, something wrong has gone with him. So, tatraham akruro rajmantri. So what is this? That pride he is describing, that I am Akrura and I am Rajmantri. I am a minister of the king. Ragyoti Adarniye. And even the king has respect for me. We saw that. How Kamsa called him with great respect, took his hand in his hand, made him sit down, and he said, you are great, you are this. Remember, Kamsa was praising him. He was very respectful to him. He says, besides you, there is no one who can do this for me. So he is very exceptional in that sense. So he can also have a pride like that. So katham gocharakasya padhulau luthami iti dambha. How can I now roll in the dust of a cowherd boy? I am the minister, I am respected by the king, I am a royal person. So how can I do this? I am a Kshatriya, he is just a Vaishya. So this is the dambha, he did not have that. Means he did not have any attachment to his birth, etc. So there can be various types of pride related to birth, to position, to education, to relation, some other qualities. So he did not have that. So that's the meaning. So madduto api bhutva, then what is the fear? He says madduto api bhutva macchatroho padhulau luthati iti upajapa kupitat kamsat bhayam hitva. That somebody can go and complain to Kamsa. Upajapa means, we came this word Upajapa recently in Harinamati Vyakaran, talking in the ear. Right? Sometimes people go and they talk in your ear and something slowly. That is called Upajapa. It's a type of japa because you are not supposed to do japa loudly. You know? There are 3 types of japa, mansik japa and upanshu. So when you are criticizing somebody to someone, then you do upanshu japa. Which no one else can hear. Only that person, don't tell this to, I'm just telling this to you only. So he says that somebody would go and tell Kamsa that look, he is your messenger, but he was rolling in the dust of your enemy who is going to kill you. Because Krishna is supposed to kill Kamsa. And now he is the messenger of Kamsa and he is rolling in the dust where Krishna walked. So if Kamsa comes to hear, how happy he will be. Right? He will give him praise, oh you are so great. I really like you. Being my messenger, you are rolling in the dust of my enemy. So this fear can be in him. Because this news will go to him. Upajapa kupitat, he will get angry after hearing this message. So he did not have fear like that. He says, let Kamsa go to hell. If he wants to get angry with me, let him get angry, but I am going to. So that shows his dedication, his love for Krishna, his surrender. And then next is distress or grief. What is the grief? Kupita kamsha vinashyesu shucham griha kalatradishu shokam hitva. That now when Kamsa gets angry, then he may destroy his family. Before he goes there, he sees that his house is bulldozed to the ground, right? He is in UP. And the Chief Minister of UP is known for bulldozing the houses of the enemies. He's called Bulldozer Baba. Right? So Kamsa can bulldoze my house and kill my wife and children. So then that will be the cause of his grief. So he did not care for that. So this is the meaning, that giving up all pride, fear, grief, he rolled in the dust of Sri Krishna's foot marks. Yatha tathaiva vayam पंडितत्वादि अभिजातत्वादि ऐश्वर्यवत्तां च श्रेष्ठा कथम सर्वलोकान आदृत कुचैलिक अकिंचन निकृष्ट वैष्णव चरण धूलो पतामैति दम्भ. So how does this apply to us? So now he is explaining that this should be enough for us to understand, but just in case we are not smart enough, intelligent enough to learn from this how we should apply practically it in our lives, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti mercifully gives us practical application of this. So he says that I am a learned person, I am Pandit, I know Sanskrit, I know Shastra, Abhijatatvat, I am born in a high family, I am Brahman, learned, Aishwarya, I am rich. And this Vaishnava, this Prabhu, look, he is having all this wrinkled cloth, not very clean, kuchalinam. Kuchail means not ironed, dusty, rusty. So how can I bow down to him? So this is the pride, that I am such a great person, learned, so many people follow me, and I am going to bow down to this fellow who is wearing little piece of cloth, not very clean, and akinchana, as he has no money, he is poor, he is doing madhukari, begging for his food. Nikrishta Vaishnava is just very lowly Vaishnava. So why shall I touch his feet and take the dust? So this is the dambha. And then fear, what is the fear? Swajana nindad bhayam. And the fear that, well, if I do this, at least I should do it when nobody is watching. If others see me bowing down to this unclean looking Vaishnava, he is not even shaved properly, right? So then they will think not highly of me. They will think, what is this? Why is he doing this? They will criticize me. So swajana ninda bhayam. Right? Sometimes somebody becomes a devotee, then parents, they don't want to be known. They feel embarrassed that my son has become a devotee. He is living in Vrindavan. If he comes, then he is wearing all these dirty clothes, no jeans. So they don't want it to be known to others, because then other relatives will criticize. What is this? Look at his son. What happened? So this is the fear. Tattat tyagat shokam cha hitva. And then giving up all this, you may have, well, I've given up my position, I've given up this, I've given up that. Sometimes people keep on saying, before I became devotee, I had so much wealth, I had so much this. I wish I had some money now. Then you will not talk to me like this. So giving up all this, and then this Hare Linga. So there Linga were referred, in case of Akrura, it referred to the footmarks of Krishna. So here is Harer Lingam Vaishnavam. Here Linga is Vaishnava. Because Vaishnava also reminds of Krishna. Just as Krishna's footprints remind Krishna, in the same way, the Vaishnava also reminds one of Krishna. So by seeing Vaishnava, Tacharan Dhulau Pateyu. So by seeing him, we should fall down in his dust of his feet, not touching. You're talking about touching yesterday. He's not saying touching. He says in the dust. So this is the teaching. Yadva hitva ityadikam deha bhritsuveva yogyam natu akrure prem vivale iti. Or the meaning is that this whole thing, when he is saying that deham bhritamiyan artho hitva dambham, he says this is teaching. Sukdev Goswami is giving this to us, not to Akrura, because Akrura is already like that. What is the point in telling this to Akrura? He is doing it. He says that he is prem vivala. He is overwhelmed with love for Krishna. He has nothing like that. Yatha harer naradadi mukhad yasha shramnena smarnena chakruro yatha dasya rasanukulan manorathans chakar tathaiva kada harim paricharishyamah api kim tam drakshame ityadi manorathan kuryu. So just as Akrura had heard about Sri Krishna from Sri Narada, and just by hearing, he is remembering all this, and then he is having all these manorathas, means his wish in the mood of a dasya, that how will I do service to Krishna, I bow down to him, and when will I get the opportunity to do any service to him? Harim paricharishyama api kim tam drakshama. When will I get opportunity to see him? So he says this is how we should also do. This is the lesson we learn from this description of Akrura coming from Mathura to Braj. So this is the end of his commentary. So now he describes further what he did. So now he rolled out of ecstasy in the foot dust of Krishna by seeing the footmarks. So now he further describes. So then he sees Krishna and Balaram. Dadarsa Krishnam Ramam cha vraje godohanam gatau pita nilambar dharau sharadam buru hekshanau. So then he actually saw now, finally, that moment came for which he was waiting so long. So he saw Krishna and he saw Balaram, and this is the evening time. So they have already come back from the forest. They took a bath, changed their dress. Now they are in the Goshala for milking. So Godohanam Gatau Vraja. So Vraja here means the Goshala. And Pita Nilambar Dharau. So they are dressed, Krishna is dressed in yellow garments and Balaram in blue. And Sharadambur Vakshanau. And they have beautiful eyes like the autumn lotus. So lotus blooms very nicely in the autumn season after the rains are over. Like that he saw him. Kishorau Syamala Shvetau Srinikeetau Brihad Bhujau Sumukhau Sundarvarau Baladvrida Vikramau. So further description of them, that they were Kishora, means they are teenagers, young, and Shyamala Shvetau. So Krishna is Shyamvarn and Balaram is Shweta. So Krishna is dark in color and Balaram is white man, Shweta. And Sriniketau, they are the abode of Sri, Lakshmi, beauty, wealth. Brihad Bhujau, they have long arms touching up to the knees. Sumukhau, they have beautiful face. Sundar Varau, and both are extremely beautiful to look at. Bala Dvirada Vikramam, and they are very powerful like young elephants. Means they are strongly built and physically strong. So we will stop here if there are any questions to ask. We will continue to describe. Jai Dwarka ji boliye.
Ram Babaji, thank you so much for your explanation, Babaji. Babaji, I had a question from that explanation where it was mentioned that after seeing the footprints of Krishna, Akrura ji, he came into ecstasy and he started rolling down the grounds. So regarding the footprints of Krishna, generally it is said that footprints are never ever removed because nobody walks on the footprints of Krishna. So I just out of my material mind, this question came.
No, where is
this
it
question
said?
Came. Yes.
Where is it said that nobody walks on it?
I heard from the devotees that footprints are there. It is never removed because nobody walks on the footprints of Krishna. So they always remain intact.
Okay. I never read that anywhere. Anyway, continue.
Okay, if that is not the case, then the question will not arise. Because my question was that because if this is the case, then whenever Krishna is walking, so his foots are printed, and every day he may be walking at different paths. So one time no path will be left for all other devotees to walk. So this was just my question.
Anyway, it is a nice sentiment to think like that, but he has his friends, they are not caring that should not walk here. They are walking behind him, where all they put their foot in. And anyway, if you put your foot mark, just like you walk on the beach, after some time your footprints are gone. It's not that it is something like set in some metal or something. Just ground. The air will move, the dust is blown away.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Babaji.
Cows will walk over it. Cows are not going to think this is Krishna's footprint. And it will be very difficult for the cow to imagine he has 4 legs. When you walk, you have 2 legs, so you can say, I will not put my foot here, but cow will have a tough time.
Yes, probably.
But anyway, it's a good sentiment to think like that, but it's not true. Okay, Aditya ji.
Okay.
Pranam Babaji. I have a question from yesterday. A couple times in this episode, we've been reading about Akrura. There's been Chakravarti Pad has mentioned Purva Paksha, that is Akrura engaging in Rasa-Bhas, mentioning the pastimes with the gopis. But the response is that given that it's only in his mind, it's not technically Rasa-Bhas. So I guess my question is, when would Rasa-Bhas actually occur if he was speaking it publicly?
Yeah. If he spoke to publicly or not publicly, but to somebody else, then it will be. Anything else? Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if there's any significance with all throughout these verses about Akrura. It's been about, all throughout the verses about Akrura, his thought process. He's imagining himself, he's he's imagining how he is going to interact with Krishna and Balaram. Is there any significance about that? Because this last verse that we've just read summarized how it's applicable to the sadhaka. Is this imaginative state of any significance like this?
Well, that is what is the purpose of bhakti? Smartavya saptam Vishnu vismartavya jatu chet sarve vidhi nishadasya ete kinkara. The purpose is to remember Krishna and never to forget.
So even in an imaginative state like this.
Now, what is remembrance? Is this thinking with mind? Imagine what he's going, so he's thinking that I'm going to meet him like this. Just like if you had come alone here and when you're going back, you will imagine that now I'm going to meet my children, my husband, and then I'll do this way, right? So you'll be absorbed in the thoughts of your family members. So like that he's absorbed. You can call it imagination or meditation. Okay.
I have also one idea which came to the mind about this dust of the fields.
Take the mic.
Okay. So,
There's no dust in your country, so
no, but just came just on mind when you gave this lecture. Let's say if you take the situation when you know when some sadhu is going to give some diksha. Let's say you take some dust from holy name, and when you
dust
know
from holy name.
sorry, dust from holy place, and you have this dust when you know that sadhu comes to such place and steps into that place, you put that dust on that place. When sadhu steps on that dust and just move away, so just take this dust and put on your head. It could work also.
Yeah, this is because you don't see dust in your country. You have to make dust there.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, the thing is like this, that again this dust thing and rolling is basically trying to show the sentiment of love he has. It is not that you have to actually, some people come to Vrindavan, they eat also dust. Dhula nai, dhula nai. Yeah, there is a saying like this in Bengali. Anybody Bengali here, you know this? Dhula nai, dhula nai. They say like that and eat. So it is not, certain things are just having their significance. It's not that action has to be exactly like that. The idea is absorption of the mind. But what happens is that absorption of the mind has to be depicted through certain actions. So when people get into the physical and forget that absorption, that's what happens. Okay.